right, welcome to another video of ours. As always, it would be helpful for us for you to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as mention it to your friends, especially those who tend to struggle. Who knows? In this video, we're going to be doing tidbits of tips and tricks of things we've been requested of before and think it could fit into this kind of video. So let's explore some power meters a bit more. The power meters in Jigsaw kind of give you a visual representation of how you set it up in your settings. Within your depth and sale settings, your power meters tab, you have a few types. You have, of course, the trades power meter, which is what changes based on the way that trades are occurring within your inside column. The snapshot power meter is the pulling and stacking that occurs, and then the depth power meter is the depth you have outlined within these settings. Well, if we had played 10, it would just be how heavy the bids are compared to the asks to show a sort of imbalance. What you can do as well is if you were to put yourself into a position, the power meters will reset for the trades one. And that way you can sort of track to see how your trade is going regarding to the amount of market orders. I'm currently in lose position because it seems that there's more selling orders coming through and there's more stacking and imbalance towards the sell side. You could also have it set to reset when you close your position, in case you wanted to refresh your mind with how things ended up changing after you exited your position. As well as having it only active when you have position to not give you a sort of bias prior, and so that these orders aren't going to be showing the imbalance within your power meter. And that was a quick demonstration regarding that. It seems like it. We have as well a request regarding updates of the DOM refresh. The DOM tends to refresh with the setting over here with updating intervals and the update interval prints. The update interval setting at default is set to 200 milliseconds, which is that the depth will get updated about 5 times a second. And it also will update anytime that the inside bid and ask, these highlighted ones, move up and down as well. For slower moving products, you wouldn't get as many updates just based on the upticks and downticks. But of course, if you have let's say a smaller update interval, it will update into quicker as well. You want to be careful because it tends to be faster than most humans can perceive, as well as the fact that if you have an older computer, setting it too low for the refresh will also cause some issues, possibly just bogging down, or you wouldn't be able to catch when prices start to sweep. So test around that setting to see what works for your computer and for yourself. I mean, everyone's unique. Who's to say you're not a savant? The update intervals print setting by default is set to 20 times per interval. It tells you how many prints the current trades column will allow between each interval. You can set this at a higher set without understanding it. It will also bog down your system and cause a bottleneck. So it tends to be all right with that setting. If anything, just change this setting if you feel like you sense the prices aren't updating quickly enough for you. Next little tidbit we were asked about was regarding how the pace of tape gauges could be used. If you set it with, say, correlating markets, we'll have, let's say, ZB as an inverse correlation. While we're trading the ES, we can keep an eye on how that one's moving, as well as if you wanted to set it for NQ as a positive correlation. Let's have positives on the left, negatives on the right. Within the settings as well, you can change the average time that it looks at. With the settings on the piece of tape, you have the POT average time. This setting is the amount of times in minutes that it will look back to calculate, I guess, what is considered normal, low, and like high trade activity. If you feel that you are more attuned to maybe looking at a, let's say, 10-minute average view of what you could be considered for more volatile products, this will help you to see within that average what will be a quicker, more high trade activity section for the tape. The needle is set up regarding this setting for the look back. By default, it's at 20 seconds, and I haven't felt that I would need to increase this either. 20 seconds is about right. If anything, maybe even 30 seconds might be something I might set it at for myself. The tuner is more useful when it comes to, again, more volatile products. You want to try and set it that higher numbers will make it so that this becomes less sensitive, so that you don't just constantly see NQ up in the red zone and assuming that it's just always a very volatile time. The market bounce is regarded with how things are starting to lean more as a negative or bearish tape, or more of a bluish bullish tape. And of course, you can change the colors with this setting here. Look back for what is considered, currently set to 60 seconds, but if you wanted to set to a quicker moment, say 30 seconds, and you apply it all, this will reset the tape gauge, and our settings will, or should, apply correctly. You can also customize the style you'd prefer to match maybe a setup or whatever your little eye candy likes. For myself, I tend to prefer, we'll say, the Dark Knight. You can also alter the shape of it. Let's say currently it's round and circular. Maybe I would prefer it, because it's on the right, to be a quarter right. And I apply. And for this one being on the left, I would want it to be a Dark Knight as a quarter left. And I don't think many people know that this button lets you reset. If you right click, it gives you the option to also resize the tape gauge. And a little tidbit information that maybe not people may know is that these could be resized, in case you tend to not have a huge monitor space, maybe like myself. I think that wraps up this little tidbit regarding the pace of gauge. Going back into our ladder, for the way that your DOM is set up vertically, you can also affect that with the Q font options. If I set it in here that I want to reduce the Q font, that will also affect how this all turns out. If I have it displaying Q vertical, like so, it will sort of expand the verticality of your DOM, if it's something you prefer as well, visually speaking. Otherwise, ticking it off just makes it thinner and gives you more prices to watch. I think that was a little bit of fun as well to learn. Within your within your actual recon tape, there are audible alerts regarding what you set up for your block trades. You can set up custom ones, and that's based on what you have set here. Let's set for ourselves, on average, it seems like we're getting maybe 20 to make it legend. So we set it 20. Anytime the ES shoots through, either on the bid or the ask, a 20. Oh, let me share this sound. So sharing the sound, we put up to here. Anytime we see a 20 block, we hear it be either block buy or block sell.
Block sell.
There's a few block sells.
Block buy.
And block buy. I'll turn it off.
Block sell.
For myself, I tend to not like it. Block trade alert marker is more so when you have it set up to connect with NinjaTrader, and you'll have little blocks on your charts that will show up, and something we can probably set forth in a different video. The volume profile, currently the way it's set, has just that showing, but you can also have it, of course, set to show your last traded quantities. In a way I like to orientate this recently is if I have it set where I have price all the way to the left, I have this sort of in the middle, and that way everything's more centered of my view. I can see what were the sell side action and the buy side action, and then just generally what occurred last. And I can see if we start to accumulate within buying and selling at one specific price, the LTQ will also, based on the settings set in here, we have it accumulate trade prices. Once we've reached, let's say, an iceberg level, or even a level where buyers and sellers are agreeing at that specific price, the LTQ within the volume profile will stack up. We requested as well by someone else how these green and reds showed up on the inner columns. That is based on the fact that when I have momentum tails, when it's ticked on, the momentum tails will be active. But when you have them ticked off, it will show off that coloring. And that color is based in whatever you consider the highlight background color. If I had set this, just for in this instance, let's had it at orange, that would change that color. If we have our positions window, these columns within here can also be customized. If you were to right click and have a column chooser, these are the ones that are currently not active within here. Let's say if I wanted to show the account that I was trading on, this in case being a demo, the average price that you got filled at, close P&L instrument currency, that's not necessarily valid or necessary. That's more so if you probably fit the stocks. These ones are buttons that open up dominant sales for that product based on the default you have set in case you needed to check out how things were moving at that point in time. That button as well is also not necessary and tends to be hidden in my personal. If you prefer seeing the full instrument name of the product as opposed to just the instrument code, play around with that for yourself. I tend to just have things set up where it's just the instruments, the time I open a trade, the time I close a trade, the period of time between those, what the action was, whether they have to be a buy or a sell, quantity that was maxed out for that trade, our close P&L, our max adverse excursion, which is how many ticks that the trade went against you, and the MFE is how many ticks that the trade went in your favor. Some features as well within Jigsaw is that if you have a trade set, you can also flatten it, or if you had multiple trades going on different instruments, you can flatten all of them through the order positions window. You can also check to see if you are flat, and that will pop up in your alerts window regarding if, flat check, sorry. It also will, it will help you exit out of trades that you, let's say you are doing legs or spreads across different instruments, you want to close parts of the leg, you check within this and you will close it out that way, as opposed to just flatten them all. Within our description, we have a discount code if you're interested in using Jigsaw products. If you haven't purchased it before, they do tend to allow you to use the product up to about 14 calendar days, after which you can decide to get a refund. But if you are interested, we'll have those discount codes in the description. At this moment, we have discount codes regarding $30 off the packages where it's you earn the product itself, you'll pay for the advanced order flow or the institutional training. We have a coupon code for $100 off with access to the annual live trading subscription, which will include Journalytics retail. A code for $150 off the professional institutional packages, $250 off the day trade institutional, and $250 off the institutional training and advanced training. And of course, all that will be in the description. We thank you for your support. Thank you to those who tend to put likes and those who put in the comments. We do tend to read through these, and it gives us ideas on videos in the future. And don't forget to join our Discord. We tend to be very helpful individuals. I myself have DM'd or allowed people to DM me and have gone through maybe like an hour and a half of a conversation. Of course, within time. I'm not always available, but of course, come on by. If those of you who have not seen it before, our Discord is in the description. Have a good day.